うん。じゃあなる更新。八重地で祝う。我々の支援によりティーフリングは勝利を祝っている。楽しもう。あ、すごい。すごいファッションですね。なんかカッパ隊を連想させるような。アスタリオンが呼んでるし、あの生意気な人もいるし、ゼブローさんいるし、いろんな人と喋ってみようかな。この子はちょっとわかんないな。
You came through for us. That's a change from most adults I know.
誰だろう。
And that sounds like the wine drowning your wits. Go on, enjoy yourself. I've squirreled away a few extra bottles. When the barrel's tapped out, I'll be there to save the night. For a price, of course.
ちょっとこの子は覚えがないですね。ゼブローさんはよく覚えてるな。
You have no idea how good it feels to see these people smiling. The singing we could probably do without, but even so, thank you.
楽理さ。
Hope you're enjoying the night, hero. I certainly am. Cheers to many more like this.
みんな一言だけかな。アルフィラ。
This might be the wine talking, but I'm feeling inspired. Thinking of writing my next song.
この人と会ったことあるかな。歌ってた人かな。
I need an angle. Any ideas?
Fitting. ユキ。
You're braver than half this camp
いや、僕のことじゃ
combined.
なくてね。
That deserves to be remembered.
ハルシンさん。
Go on now. Don't waste a night like this talking to
相
me.
変わらず顔はち
We'll
ょっと
have
ね、
plenty
汚
of
れてる
time
ね。
together on the way to moonrise.
俺と飲んでくれるかと思っていた。
In truth, I rarely imbibe. The stuff goes right to my head. Before you know it, I'd be breaking into song or declaring
いるよ
love to
ね、
the
そういう
first
人ね。
person I laid eyes on.
ありがとうっていう気持ちで、はいはいはいはいはいはいはいはいはい。じゃあ今日は帰ろうかっていう人いるよね。一応話合わせてあげようか
And
な。
you have never heard me singing,
あ、
which makes
ジャイ
you
アン系
very
ですか。
fortunate.
他には
I'm sure there are. You strike me as extremely resourceful. But there are many grateful people here who want to spend time with you. I might not look into it myself, as enjoyable as that may be. Go on, enjoy yourself. Seek out some wine before it runs dry.
ワインじゃな、喉の渇きは潤せないよね。酔っ払うだけだからな。水分補給にはならないよね。そう、喋ってみよう。
Beautiful night, don't you think?
タバコはどうだい？
Like a
魔
brush
法
with
のタバコは
destruction
も
to
う
make one
いい
appreciate
感
the
じ？
majesty of the celestial canvas. It's a view I would once have shared with my companion, though definitely unaccompanied by such revelry. She preferred it when we were alone, curled up before a crackling hearth with some ancient, esoteric tome between us, ink glinting in the firelight.
やめてくれとは思わないけど、
Oh, not everyone is comfortable being alone with their
ちょっと未練
thoughts.
があるんですね。
No, I never felt alone with a book in my hand, or with her for company. I speak of Tara, my Tresson, assistant, my constant companion through all the ills and tribulations my hubris has thrust upon me. She had been most impressed by our efforts saving these tieflings. Proud, even. And I've given her little to be proud of recently.
新しい
After I was afflicted
女
with
が
my
出てきた
condition,
な。エルさん
I
モ
locked
テんのか
myself in my
な。
tower for an entire year.
なんかモテそうだけどな。
I was inconsolable, wallowing in my self-inflicted tragedy.
うん。
Given up on myself. But Tara never did. It was her encouragement.
エルさんこんなに真面目なキャラクターなんだ。
Once we knew that magically infused items were the key, she went out to find them for me. She saved my life. After so long being cared for by someone else,
うん。
it feels good to have repaid the favor. Not directly to Tara, but to these poor tieflings. I'm sure she would approve.
うん。
You remind
う
me
ん
of her
どんな
somewhat.
人？
There's a steeliness in you, an unwavering tenacity, even in the face of, to be frank, quite dire odds.
うん。
Wish she were here for me to make a formal introduction. But I would never ask her to undertake such a journey. She's safer at home. Besides,
きっと後でなんか合いそうだな。そのターラさん
so。to speak. Find mortal friends instead of hanging onto Mistra's coattails. So that's what I'm doing. I hope.
うーん。うーん。3番
She'll love you. So long as you don't rub her belly. She hates it when anyone does that.
お、犬くんがさっき歩いてたな。そんな人いないでしょう。お腹さすられて気持ちいい人間はいなそうだけど
I
な。
remember once she took the smallest piece of the weave and made it into. Wait, are you saying? You know what? I think I've clearly had far too much wine. And you've had nowhere near enough. I think this is a conversation best held back on. For now. With my condition as volatile as it is, I fear any undue excitement may tip it over the edge, so to speak. Go. Indulge in the frivolities. They're good for the heart. And mine will be all the lighter to see you enjoy
ゲルさん
yourself.
がすごいいい人になってきた。なんでだろうな。もうちょっとおちゃらけていいんだけど。このおじさんはどうだ？
Ah, there you
あ
are.
はーっていつも
Come
言って
now,
くれる。
settle in. I do hope you have partaken of something bracing. This may well take us all night. Why, you're naming, quite obviously. That ballad was but a crude preview, a frame without its crowning jewel. Your nom de guerre. Something
あ
iconic,
ー、歌を
but
作って
not
くれる
too
のか
much of
な？
a mouthful. We don't want to exclude the common folk after all. I intend this tale to enrapture all.
ゴブリンスレイヤーはちょっと著作権的に良くないね。日本においては。うん。物語を書いてくれなんて頼んでない。
And do you think Volothem Gedam got where he did by waiting to be asked? No, no. It is for you to slay the dragons and for me to worry about the accolades. Actually, slaying a dragon would prove quite helpful, mind.
うんうん。
Hearts a quiver. We raised our bows.
あれ
None of that
ア
poetic
ス
stuff.
タリオンのびっくりマークも消えちゃった。
Goblins
ワンちゃん。
but we were brave.
今日は声が聞こえないな。
Live a little.
Think of it. No more caves.
No more tents, no more running away. We'll be in a city with roads and markets and homes.
なんなんだよ君は。
Patience? Have you no respect for showmanship?
Having performance issues, Roland.
Hush you, and behold!
え、絶対2番を持ってますよね。この顔は。1番じゃないと思う。2番の顔をしてると思う。えみたいな。あ、それだけ？
I'll have you know, he can also make them blue.
青？あれ？
Never have I met such troglodytes. Now, pass the wine.
お前それしかできねえんかよ、本当に。
Are Roland and Leah actually getting along? I know you cut down a horde of goblins, but this is far more impressive.
Look at them. How happy they are. We did that.
あ、うん。そうだね。君たちのおかげだね。4番はまあ言わないであげて、うん、1番だね。3人。君たちはどうだいって楽しんでるかいって。
Yeah. Don't tell Roland, but his magic show might be the highlight. He's been doing them since we were little. He'll make it big in Baldur's Gate. I know it.
このローランさんは魔法使いになるんかと思ったけど、多分大道芸人になるんだろうな、将来的には。俺なんだろう、子供を助けてあげた2人かな。
I need to dance. No. No, I need to lie down.
ん？この男の人は飲ませて酔わせてよくないな。
Sherry! That's infernal for cheers. Or possibly turnip.
誰か言うぞ。あ、ウィルさんだ。俺は騒がし、あ、ちょっとうちのワンちゃんに触らないでほしいんですけどね。イカロン、この人とは喋ったっけな。
Look at them all. Guzzling poison like we've the right to be happy.
これがいいと思うな。いや6以上。あ、よかった。綱になった方がいいよ、絶対に。
Perhaps it'll make the evening more tolerable.
ウィルさんはね、俺は騒がしいのは苦手だみたいなことを言いそうなタイプだな。シャドーハートちゃんは何だろう。騒ぎより本の方が大事って言いそう。
Everyone seems to be in high spirits. Strange. You know who I never thought I'd find myself caring for?
ちょっと、まあ、2番って言いたいけど、
Exactly right. Never gave them much thought. Certainly not that bunch in the grove. Yet we came through for them. We saved their lives. Odd.
1番だね。妙でもない正しいことをした。
That's more easily said by some than others. But nobody's here to debate right from wrong. Share a bottle with me? We should wait a little while. Until the others have
どっ
drifted
ちだ
off.
い君。あ、何ですか。いい感じじゃないですか。
Best not keep me waiting. I'd prefer not to entertain myself.
おいしょおいしょ。あ、アスタリオンとも喋ろう。
You know, I never pictured myself as a hero. Never thought I'd be the one they'd toast for saving so many lives. And now that I'm here...
いい感じ？
I hate it. This is awful.
あれ？ああ、そうなんだ。そうか、命を救うのはひどいことですか？
We killed some goblins to save some tieflings. The tally of lives didn't change much.
あ
But what
あ。
do I get for all my hard work? A pat on the head and vinegar for wine.
酢みたいなワインか。とりあえず飲む。
It's a heavy, rich red, dry,
美味しそうじゃん。
sharp.
See what I mean? Awful. All I want is a little fun. Is that so much to ask?
2番じゃないよね。何か殺したいわけじゃないよね。
Not at all. I was hoping for companionship. And, well, maybe a little death. Figuratively speaking.
あ、やっぱりね、噛みたいってことだよ
It's easy for
ね。
some. You and Shadowheart seem to have a connection. It looks very sweet. Not what I'd call passionate or interesting, but sweet.
あいや、ちょっとね、あ、そういうことか。あ、このゲームはそういうのがあんのかな。2番はちょっとけど、3番っぽいような気がするな。3番聞いてみよう。あ、怒られた。
You and Shadowheart can get up to whatever you want. It means nothing to me. But you go ahead. Have fun.
あ、けど、シャドウハート君は怒ってそうな気がする。いや、アスタリオンちゃんも、じゃあ、アスタリオン君は怒ってる気がするな。いやー、ちょっと失敗したな。シナビさんは何か言うの？
Fate spins along as it should. Dost thou require a new
変わらないですね。
or mayhaps a resurrection?
私、シナビさんがここにいてみんなびっくりしないのかな。君はなんだ？なんでついてくるんだ？おい、おいろくん。
Ah, hells. I was hoping you wouldn't notice I was gone.
なんで
Really?
そうだよ。
I'm honored. In truth, I don't feel in a festive mood, and I didn't want to cast a great
悪魔になっ
cloud
ちゃっ
over
た
the
から
night.
ね。
I'm a devil. I love the people from the grove, but I unsettle them deep down, as I seem to unsettle everyone nowadays. You don't want a devil at your party. Horns this sharp will pop the balloons, you see, and the guests won't take kindly to scars
風船割っちゃいね、
quite
確かにね。
monstrous.
風船割るための別に募ってわけでもないでしょ。あ、2番。荷物をかけられるじゃないか。羨ましいな。確かに。2番がちょっと、ロっぽいな。
You don't need to mock me when I'm feeling low. But off with you. This is your day.
冗談なんだけど、ちょっと言い過ぎちゃったかな。そう。どうしてここまでお前を追ってきたのか、わからないのかっていうのは当然です
It's
ね。
a long shot, but maybe you've grown fond of me. If so, I'm afraid I must remain a passing fancy. If not, well, it wouldn't be my first misjudgment. It's a long shot, but maybe you've grown fond of me. If so, I'm
あれ
afraid
同
I
じこ
must
と言ってる
remain
よう
a
な気がする
passing
な。
fancy.
ちょっとバグっちゃったかな。
It wouldn't be my first misjudgment. Some time alone beneath the stars, and I'll be back to my old self. Promise. Still, it's a night to remember. You've made sure of that.
まあなんかいい感じなのかな。まあみんなに信頼してもらいたいですね。ああ、ワンコちゃんも人気があるな。あとカラクくん、カラクちゃん。
Would you look at this place? All these people happy
そうです
because
ね。
of us. It's nice to be somewhere where good is still possible.
うん。
Speaking of, from where I'm standing, it looks like you and Shadowheart are getting more familiar. She's a funny one, all pointy and secretive.
う
But
ん。
it seems like there's
ツンデレ
someone
だよ
very
ね、シャ
sweet
ドウハートちゃん
beneath it
ね。
all, you know?
全然ツンデ
Good
レ
to
だ
see
よ。
the two of you getting along anyway. At least one of us is getting a little action. Though, you know, if you wanted to meet up later, maybe we could meet up later.
あ、そういうことか。あ、いや、良くないんじゃないの？立ち去っちゃうのはちょっと冷たすぎるけど、3はない。ぜひそうしたいもない。どっちにしろ、すごい悲しそうな顔してるな。ちょっと僕にはね、シャドウハートちゃんがいるので、なんかとりあえず間延びさせたい、この会話を。
I know, but you only live once. And if you never throw your dart, you'll never hit the bullseye.
はい、確かに。やってみないとね。投げ続けなさい。
I will. And I've got a good arm, you know.
シャドウハートさんは、本当は嫌な人かもしれないようからね。
For now.
いや
Buzz of celebration quiets to a soothing hum as you approach your bunk.
Though you seek repose, you needn't spend the night alone. There is one who yearns for you in the dark.
そういう風なんだ、なんか。ゲイルさんもそうだったんですね。このゲームは誰とでもなんだね。なるほど。
Your heart skips a beat. What treasures might this night bestow?
You made it. Come here. Sit with me. Someone's in. I was hoping for a toast. Any suggestions?
ちょっと表情はいやらしいけど、考えてることもいやらしいけど、二人に。
Bold. What does us entail? I suppose I'll find out. To us. Now tell me something about yourself. And no tadpoles, dragons, marauding goblins, or anything like that. Something about you. Fishing for. Go on. I insist.
けど君の話も聞きたいよ。難易度高いな。好ましい始まり。魅力がない。4487。結構難しい気がするな。よし、大事な局面だと思うので、よし。そんな話が待ってんのか
Don't
な。
laugh, but I'm not quite sure I have anything to share.
うん。
When you worship Shard, secrecy is everything. We'll sacrifice our own memories when ordered to. A lot of the little things, they're lost to me right now.
Perhaps.
But please, enough about me. Sharing's bad for my complexion. There's still plenty of wine.
肌に良くないってキラーワードだな、女の子も。右手になんか宝石みたいのが埋め込まれてますね。
Another moment won't kill them, I suppose. Well, it might, but let's take that risk. Thank you for last night. Me too.
She trails off. You read an invitation in her eyes.
ああらららららら。見てるこっちがドキドキしちゃうね。わあ、どうしようどうしよう。うわわわわわわわわわ。もじもじしちゃうよ。
That didn't hurt, did it?
どういうことだ？ちょっとやっぱり、英語は難しいんだな、やっぱりな。
I'd like to think that would have happened anyway. Let's head back, if we must.
I trust you enjoyed your evening. After all your efforts, it was well
うるさいね。
deserved.
頑張って確かに。
It may be some time before you're afforded another such night. There is much to be done. Moonrise Towers beckons. I've told you all I know, and now I'll join your camp to help you face whatever's to come. With luck and the Oak Father's blessings, we might actually survive. Are you ready? There is a terrible curse surrounding Moonrise Towers. A shadow curse that drains away all light and life. Few can resist it without dying or transforming into shadow beings. You can try to journey overland if you wish, but I strongly advise you go under. There is a tunnel leading from the Temple of Seluna right down into the Underdark and beyond. The entrance is hidden somewhere in the ruins. I believe if you find this entrance, you'll discover a route that leads to Moonrise Towers, bypassing the worst of the shadow curse. Aradin and his lot were looking for the same entrance. They sought an artifact called the Night Song that was supposed to be housed somewhere down there.
ナイトソングっていうその異物もなんか怪しいですよね。
You'll need to pick it up where Aradin left off. Find the hidden entrance. It's somewhere in the Temple of Seluna. Onward then. We'll speak soon, I'm sure.
Okay. あ、ハルシンってもう仲間になんのかな。ちょっと
Oak Father's blessings to you.
なんだか話がいっぱいあるな。6とかあんのかな。あ、6は6もあるわ。いっぱい話があるんだな。なんで君は寄生生物に。
Closer than most would care to be to those things. A drow attacked me and I defended myself. Afterwards, I was able to examine the tadpole that emerged. Hideous but fascinating. Like nothing else in nature, I'm glad to say.
そうだね、それ気になりますね。うまくいくんかな。
I've chosen a successor as first druid, Francesca of the High Forest. I sent a bird to summon her.
フランセスカ。変な生意気ななんか頭変な女性のエルフの人は後継者じゃないよね。
Precisely. Who indeed? You do not know, and neither do any of the others. The Grove needs to move beyond the mistakes of the past. What it needs is an unknown quantity. An outsider who can enforce the Oakfather's teachings without bias. This is why I chose Francesca. She will restore simplicity and purity to the Grove in my absence. Indeed.
なんかよくわかんないけど、まあそれでいいんであれば。
Well, there's hardly anyone left to share the responsibility with. Few who witnessed the fall of Moonrise still draw breath. What Ketheric Thorm unleashed is not something that nature can undo by itself. I must do what I can. I studied the Shadow Curse for years, but to truly understand it and stop it, I must reach its source.
影の呪いを止める方法が分かっているのか。
But we'll need to get closer before I can put my theory into practice. Put it from your mind for now. Once we near the curse, then there will be more to be said.
まあその時じゃあ話してくれ。ファーストドルイドをやめたわけじゃないんじゃないのかなと思ってたけど、やめちゃったのかな。
Miss it? Oh dear no. It's a terrible burden. Takes you away from nature and forces you to deal with others' problems and personalities. Be wary of anyone who actually wants such a role, I say. Likely they don't understand it, or they have ill intent. I'm just glad to be out here amidst the Oakfather's creations.
前にティーフリングとお祝いをした時、派手なことを言わなければよかった。その場の雰囲気に飲まれてしまったってなんか言ったっけ？
There are few things that are too strong for me. And cast those regrets aside. You did not get caught up in the moment. You seized it. In other circumstances, I would have done the same.
同じこと。
Perhaps. But best to not dwell on nights past. There are plenty more yet to come. With such stimulating company, never better.
いいですね。よかったよかった。で、仲間になんないのかな？
You wish to speak?
なんかなんなそうだな。操作はできなそうだな。
Tell me, what can I do for you? Ah, yes. Karsus. Karsus was perhaps the most powerful wizard that ever lived. The child who would be a god, the elves called him. And he tried. With a spell of his own devising, he endeavored to usurp in one fell swoop the power of the goddess of magic. Mistral, she was called then. Imagine what it must have felt like. To be a god. To know yourself, to be untouchable. To be mistaken. As Karsus aimed his spell at her, she began to unravel.
ほどけ始めたの日本語がわからない。
Too late did he realize what he had unleashed. It would have been the end of everything had not Mistral sacrificed herself. The goddess of magic is all magic. By dying, the entire weave was lost, and the spell that challenged a god failed. It was the end of Mistral, the end of Karsus, and the end of an entire civilization. As the child who would be a god was turned to stone, his empire came crashing down around him. The floating cities of Netheril were no more. An event that came to be known as Karsus's folly.
そういう伝説があんのかな？あったのかな？
For a spell, Mistral was reborn as Mistra. Upon her return, the weave returned with her. Now, so many centuries later, I try to follow in the footsteps of Karsus. Not to destroy Mistra, but to prove my love for her. I tried to control only a fraction of the magic that was unleashed that fateful day. I merely sought to return one tiny diamond to an imperfect crown. Gale's folly, one might call it. History, repetition. It's the way things go.
ゲール君難しい男だな。
If it should ever come to that, If I ever know I am no longer able to stop it, I will do anything I can to ensure no one but me pays for my mistakes. I will find the remotest place on the surface of Faerun, or perhaps far below in the depths of the
み
Underdark.
んなアンダーダークに
I will
話
wait
が
that death
つながっていく。
alone. I promise I will not betray your trust. You kept me by your side despite the menace that I am. If worst comes to worst, I will be long gone before the curtain falls.
あ、なんか急に出てきたな。アストリオンの
I know
話が。
what it is to hunger, and I know what it takes to keep that hunger under control. He's done that so far, despite his condition. So long as he sates his appetite elsewhere, I'm happy to give him the benefit of the doubt.
素晴らしい。ちょっとパーティーをそろそろ変えたいな。まあシャドウハートちゃんだけは固定として、カーラックさんとアスタリオンをちょっと一回抜けてもらおうかな。アスタリオンあまりにも便利すぎるからな。
And only just mentioned it. Who'd keep a secret like that from his friends? You can't trust anyone these days.
君が言うか。
Why do you insist on exhuming the past? I was a slave. A vampire spawn. Kept by the Tsar family. Perhaps I still am. I was never able to resist their commands. But now, I've been conveniently lost. They won't ever control me again.
だといいんですけどね。なんか不思議な力で操られちゃうとかないかな。大丈夫？
Just find a vampire that will drink your blood and turn you into a vampire spawn. Their obedient puppet. In theory, the next step is to drink their blood. Once you've done that, you're free and a true vampire.
理論上はなんだいその理論上はって理論とかあんのかな。
People think the biggest threat to a vampire is a cleric with a stake. It's not. The biggest threat to a vampire is another vampire. They're scheming, paranoid, power-hungry beasts. So why would any vampire give up control over a spawn to create a competitor? Trust me, it doesn't happen. I've already apologized. What more do you want? Unless you're looking for another nibble.
ちょっと勘違いしないでほしい。もちろん断るだね。今後何の血を吸わせるか考えないといけないっていう、それは本当だよね。
You have my word. Only villains that we need to kill anyway. After all, you know what I am now. I can fight with all my weapons. Teeth included. And if I happen to drain the occasional bandit during a fight, what's the harm? They're just as dead.
それでね HP 回復するもんね。ああいや吸われたくないな。2番だな。敵は吸ってもいいですよって。
I'm starting to feel a little peckish already.
怪物の狩人に狙われているのか。ああ。狙われてたよね。ファンがいたよね、この間。
Not anymore. Which is all that matters, really.
なんで追われてんだろうね。
I didn't do anything. I was kidnapped, just like you. It seems Cazador wants me back.
カザドール。どっかの本で書かれてた集団のような。
Cazador Tsar is a vampire lord
そんなこと
in
なかったわ。
BaldursGate. The patriarch of his coven and a monster obsessed with power. He turned me nearly 200 years ago. I became his spawn.
ああ、お父さんのことね。
It was him, I'm sure. Only he would know to send the Gur after me. It was a group of Gur that attacked me that night in Baldursgate. I would have died had Cazador not appeared and saved me. Well, he didn't mention the slave clause at the time. And now he sends a Gur monster hunter for me. It's a message. He's reminding me of his power. Even in the middle of nowhere, he can reach me. And he wants me back.
そうだね。なんか取り返したいのかな、アスタリオンどうしても。
To make an example of me, to show what happens to runaways. Or maybe he thinks death is too good for me.
ね。まあ、ちょっと友達っぽいこと言っとこう。
You think I'm safe?
ダメ？
Do you know the power a vampire lord possesses?
ああ、怒られちゃった。
Turn into mist, call walls to do his bidding, shrug off blows like they're nothing. He could walk into our camp tonight and kill you with his bare hands. And you'd be lucky if death was the worst thing that happened to you.
相当強いんだ。素直にちょっと意見を聞いてみよう。
I don't know. Well, if we kill his lackeys, he'll just send more. We just have to be vigilant, keep our wits about us, and kill any monster hunters on sight.
見つけ次第殺すっていうのかな、ちょっとな。
Drow, mind flayers, death? Hopefully not ours. But maybe answers, if we can convince the right people to talk. I won't lie. It's tempting. If I keep the tadpole, I risk transforming into a grotesque monster. If I lose the tadpole, Cazador has control of me, body and soul, and I return to the shadows. It's grim either way. So why not sell what's left of my soul to a devil? Better he has it than Cazador.
けど怪しいんだよね、あのラファエルさん。きっとあるよ、なんか。
What's happening to us, confronting a god called the Absolute, and then finding time to kill my old master before he can control me once more? Yes, that's an option, but I wouldn't bet eternity on it.
なかなか難しいね。
What's on your mind?
ただ単に話をしたいだけです。
You really did it, huh? Not worried about adding more illithid into the mix?
いや、もう相当怪しくなったよ。
You look fine, smell fine, seem fine, and yet you're more mind flayer than ever. Hope you don't expect me to follow your lead in this.
いや、まだわかんないんだよね。利益の方が代償より大きいとは思ってはないです。もしかしたら代償の方が大きいかもしれない。まったく。
Good. And you know, keep an eye on yourself. If you start feeling loopy, shout. We don't know what these tadpoles are capable of.
はい。気をつけます。どうしようけど、どんどん一応使っていくつもりなんですけどね。こんにちは。
All's well, I hope.
順調です。
I was going to say the very same thing. As soon as I worked up my courage a little. I can't recall the last time I shared so much with someone.
Maybe I never did before. It meant a lot to me.
ありがとうございます。
You mean a lot to me. And that was before the kiss.
ツンデレだな。やっぱ可愛いな。恥ずかしい。
I hope so too. Though I'm not sure what kind of courtship will be afforded, given all that we're facing. But if you want to see where this goes,
確かに
I
ね
do as well.
こういう状況だからね、何があるんだろうな。
Quite the understatement, but yes, I have it. And I'll guard it with my life.
なんで持ってるし、どうやって手に入れたんでしょうね。
I was part of a group sent by my cloister. We were to take the artifact from the Githyanki and bring it to BaldursGate, no matter the cost. Though it turned out the cost was very steep. I was the only one of the group to survive. I took the artifact and fled, only to be ensnared by mind flayers before I could finish the mission. That's all I know. That's all I need to know.
記憶がないからなのかな。どうしてその理由を分からずにいられる。
I told you already. I surrendered my memories for the sake of the mission. Shah's secrets must be protected. Duty demands it. Once I fulfill my mission, I can have my memories restored.
知りたくなっちゃう
That's
か
not a
な。
luxury open to many people, us included. I have my faith to turn to instead. You should find something of your own.
君の司法官の話が気になっていたようだ。
I was. He mentioned dark justiciars, and we've come across other signs of a Sharan presence during our travels. I'm not sure I can dismiss that as a coincidence. The wound on my hand. It never quite heals. And sometimes it causes terrible pain to rip through me. It's my burden, though, from Lady Shah.
あの宝石ですか？腕にはまってる。手の甲についてる。なんか一番ちょっと冷たいことを言ってるような気がするな。2番。
I cannot say. Not with what I can recall. But even then, it would not be for me to question her will.
女神シャーってのはどんな感じの人なんだろうな。何が痛みを起こす？
Difficult to say. Sometimes I wonder if it's supposed to be guiding me, punishing me, testing me. But perhaps it's none of those. Perhaps it's completely random. I'd like to hope there's more to it than that.
そうだね。痛みで何かを伝えてくるって、ちょっと
Until
ね。
then, all I can do is endure.
まあ要するに3番ですね。言いたいことはね。
I don't think so, but you're sweet to ask. Maybe just be patient the next time you see me
本
wince
当
or
に
cry out.
心配だな。
It'll pass quickly enough. It always does. Pain is sacred to followers of Lady Shah. Pain will give way to loss and then to the peace of her eternal darkness. You can tolerate a great deal of suffering so long as it has meaning.
表情も悲しそうだし。もう選択肢これしかないの。
I'll try my best. But secrecy is ingrained in me. Lady Shah considers it greater protection than any shield or armor.
シャドウハートちゃんは彼女になったから話が長いな、やっぱり
I'm
な。
sure you do. But please try to understand that it's not something I can just talk about freely. こっち。ほい。ああ。 Very well. Perhaps there's potential in you. Let's see how you handle this. I am indeed a disciple of Shah, mistress of the night and lady of loss. I assume you've heard of her?
いや、聞いたことないんだよな。そう、なんか4番、なんか悪い信仰のような話はどっかで見たような記憶からするんだけど。
Well, if that troubles you, perhaps you should fetch the bailiff to arrest me.
いいえ。
Ah, but there's no bailiff here, is there? Just leagues of wilderness and the dangers lurking within. We're in this together. But I'll happily go it alone. My faith will
何
keep
も
me
言ってないで
company.
しょうな。うん。
You already know my biggest secrets. What more can you ask?
うんうんうん。なんで信仰するようになった
She
んだい？
took me in when no one else would. Without her, I wouldn't be alive.
ああ、子供の時大変だったのかな。
She nurtures me, cares for me, loves me. Don't believe the lies the Selûnites tell.
シャーと妖精以外のお前自身の音を聞かせてほしいは確かに
What?
それも
Besides my life's calling and the greatest problem I've ever faced.
何がご飯は好きです
I
か？
like night orchids and can't swim. Is that the sort of thing you meant?
全然いいと思いますよ。
It's a deal. No, I can't. Quite literally, I mean. With my memory suppressed, I can't betray Shah's secrets. But I can't remember much of myself either. If I manage to return to Baldur's Gate and fulfill Shah's mission, then my memories
記
will
憶が
be
戻るのも
restored.
本当かどうか。
Of course. It is an act of faith, not to be undertaken lightly. Shah will reward me when I succeed.
どんどんもうグーグーグーグーいっちゃうね。
Very serious of you. But go ahead. Always good when I'm with you.
あ、よかったよかった。
Fine. What's on your mind? Quite splendidly, to give credit where it's due. You and I have shared some good times together, and it seems we have plenty in
そういえば
common.
仲良くなる過程がなんかちょっと極端すぎてるような気がしますね。何も特に進展なかったような気がするんだけど、ある日突然なんか付き合っちゃったみたいな。それでいいのか
I suppose
な。
some would commend our actions. Goblins would have razed that whole place to nothing if it weren't for us. No excuse to rest on our laurels, though. We've still got our own problems to contend with. On one hand, they seem useful. But on the other hand, or perhaps tentacle before long,
行き着
we
く先
know
は
where
じゃあ
they're
なんだ
coming
い？
from. And what lies at the end of that path. I never expected Ceremorphosis to be tempting. I think we should resist these powers.
ああ、心配して
There's
くれてる
simply
のか
too
な。
many unknowns for us to risk it.
ダイスを振ろうかな。難易度高いな。
I see it as more a case of wisely avoiding a potential threat. My mind is set.
ありゃー、なんか喧嘩別れみたいな話で終わっちゃったな。まだありますか？
walking around this whole time with some sort of magic bomb in his chest. I'm not normally one to
みん
begrudge
な
someone
ゲイル
their
さんのこと
secrets,
を怒ってる。
but that's something I should know.
アスタリアンのことは素直に受け入れてくれたの
Very
に。
serious of you. But go ahead.
あれ？またこれか。
Even if I could remember, I'm not sure I'd tell you.
あ、え？
I don't want your ego to get overinflated.
ありゃー、なんか
Fine. What's on your mind?
怒られてないよね。
Quite splendidly,
ここは
to give
喋っ
credit
た
where
な。
it's due. You and I have shared some good times.
あー、これでもうおし
I
まい。
was hoping you'd come to chat.
あ、おしまいだな。なんかもうちょっと話が盛り上がれそうだったんだけど、ダイスを失敗してしまったがために盛り上がってないような気がするな。で、君は何やってんだよ、ここで。
Well met.
うん。
I think that unknowable powers come with unknowable consequences. I can't say I'm not curious, but once you've taken a lithid by the talon, there's no telling how deep into the abyss it might drag you.
いや、まあ、とりあえず説得してみよう。18、10以上じゃあ、11以上だったけど、なんとかな
I'm
った。
more than a bit wary, I admit. Still, I am the frontier's avowed protector. New dangers require new skills to vanquish them. If the tadpole must be my curse, then let the powers it grants me be the Sword Coast's blessing. I will consume what I must to make it so.
こんなもんかな。みんなと、あ、カーラックさんとも、あ、ワンコちゃんとも喋っとこう。
Scratch's tail wags
うん、どうした
enthusiastically.
どうしたおいおいおいおい。
Scratch's tongue lolls out happily, his tail wagging even faster.
いや、いつも通りでしたね。カーラックさんとも喋ったし、みんなと喋ったか。じゃあ、八重町出ましょう。